Zoom for months, and so we kind of had Zoom down, and then this is my shift to YouTube, so still kind of like working out the kinks here. So thanks for being here as we do that. So let's get started. First of all, good morning. I am very happy that you're here. Today's practice, as requested, is going to focus on twists. Twists are great. Of course, physically, they're fantastic because they work into spaces in the body that we sometimes don't necessarily focus on in our things that we're doing daily. We often work in this sort of linear plane. So they can help get into spaces in the back that we really actually need to help to release. People talk about them being detoxifying, and I'm sure there's a small amount of that that does occur. But I love the idea that my teacher would often bring in when he talked about twists. And twists sort of make us focus in a space. And when our physical body is sort of all twisted up, we have to maintain a center. So they provide a home base for us so that when things are kind of swirling in life and things are busy and chaotic, we can have a foundation and a center. So the practice of twists not only have all these amazing physical benefits, but they really provide the space that you know you have to come back to as a center. So we're going to practice twists today. So for this practice, it's good to have a couple of blocks or something that you can put your hands on to just sort of raise your hands while we're in the practice, especially if they don't reach the earth very easily. So anything will do. And if you don't have them, no worries at all. We can absolutely modify, but yoga blocks are nice because they do have the versatility of different heights, but it is perfectly fine to use something else or modify without them. And then I'm sitting on a blanket just to give my hips a little bit of a lift since I'm sitting on the earth. If you are somewhere else, you can sit on a chair and then transition out, or if you've got something else to sit on. But I do recommend sitting on something. One thing that happens, especially in our Western society, is that we tend to spend a lot of our time seated. And since the transition in the last couple of years, a lot more people have transitioned to jobs that are seated. We spend a lot of time commuting seated. So what happens is the hip flexors, this area in the front side of the hips, tends to shorten and tighten. And then what that translates to is a lot of times pain in the lower back. So we end up in this sort of stiff position. So this sitting on a prop allows just a little bit of release in those hip flexors. And it does that in two ways. It physically lifts the hips so that they're slightly higher than the knees, but then it also gives this energetic feeling, this feedback, because they're a place of holding, a lot of holding of tension. So it gives the feedback that, okay, I can relax. I can just start to ease into things. So sit on something so that your hips are slightly higher than your knees. And then once you've found a comfortable seat in whatever way that looks for you, go ahead and place your hands to the tops of your thighs and just see how they naturally land. It can be palms face up or palms face down. Both are correct. Just see what happened for you. Palms face down tends to represent a little bit of a more grounding pose, more of a grounding, energetic need. Palms face up is often more receptive. So just see what naturally happened. And then either take a soft gaze or you can close your eyes fully if that feels comfortable. And then begin to settle into your body. As you settle into your body, this is a really powerful practice that's often sort of rushed past and overlooked. But being in your body is this gateway. It truly is this gateway to a path of empowerment. So as you begin to feel into your body, notice what it feels like today, right now, without any expectation, without thinking of, oh, this is going to be the spot that is always sore, or this is the spot that always feels really great. Just seeing what's there today, giving a quick scan, feeling into your body as it is, not as you expect to find. And after taking this inventory, begin to settle into your sitting bones so that you can feel the sensation of the earth beneath you, allowing your sitting bones to become a bit heavy with ease. And then start to allow your spine to get a little bit lighter and taller as the crown of your head begins to float towards the sky so that you find a buoyancy in your spine. You can almost imagine that with each breath, there's sort of this wave like water that's flowing through your spine, creating length as you breathe in and a grounding as you exhale, feeling a bit of ease through the spine. Now begin to find a subtle lift through the sternum as you find just a gentle tuck of the chin, really soft, so that you feel the back of your neck get a bit longer. And allow your teeth to separate slightly so that your jaw is relaxed and free. And feel the base of your tongue just broaden and widen within the back of your throat. And then begin to settle into the natural rhythm of your breath. So at this moment, observing your breath. This in yoga we call Anapanasati, the practice of breath observation. So as you observe your natural breath without the need to change it or manipulate it, noticing the pace of your breath, noticing how deep or how shallow your breath is. There's no right or wrong here. There's no proper answer, just noticing what's there. And then notice if there's any spaces along the path of the breath where it doesn't quite reach, or where it skips over, or it feels like it maybe gets a little stuck. Great. And then with this awareness, begin to start to smooth your breath. As you smooth your breath, maybe you notice you automatically begin to take a slightly deeper breath. Good. And then from here, taking your palms together to touch in front of your heart for Anjali Mudra. Allow your thumbs to softly rest on the sternum and find a little lift in the sternum to touch the thumbs. And take just a moment here to create an intention for your practice, a sankalpa, something that brings you to your mat. The practice of yoga is not just the movement of the body. There's so much to be gained. So, what is it that you're here for? This is your ritual. And then holding this intention in your heart, softly bow your chin, release your hands down to your knees, and then lift your gaze to the horizon as you open your eyes. Very nice. From here, if you're sitting in a cross-legged seat, just go ahead and change the cross of the legs so that we get into the non-habitual side. I'm going to move this back just a touch. And then from here, bring fingertips down to the earth. Spread the fingers wide, lift the sternum, and then allow the hip bones to stay rooted. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Take your gaze up to the lifted thumbs. On your exhale, start to release fingers down towards the earth. Gaze comes down. Inhale, sweep it up. Start to make this fluid. Gaze comes up. Exhale, reaching down. So we're starting to release the back of the neck. Inhale, sweep it up. Gaze comes up. Now on your exhale, take a twist over to the right. So left hand walks to outside of the right thigh. Right hand walks back. Rooted sit bones. So I want this to come from hips and up. So the sit bones stay rooted and that sort of waist and up start to twist. So allow the navel to twist, mid back. Good. Gaze coming over the right shoulder. Spine growing tall. Great. Now, inhaling, arms sweep up through center. And on your exhale, take it on over to the left-hand side. Rooting down through the sitting bones. Draw the low belly in and up. As you breathe in, feel the spine grow tall. Softly gazing over the left shoulder. The beautiful thing here is you are completely in control of the depth as you are with your entire practice, but you can take this as deep as you need. Good. Inhale, arms sweep up through center. Now on your exhale, begin to fold it forward. Now, as you fold forward, keep the sitting bones rooted. It's really common that the sitting bones want to sort of pop up to make this a deeper fold. I want you to keep the sitting bones rooted. It's totally fine if the back rounds. You may feel this in the outside of one of the hips or perhaps in the back. Allow the neck to be really loose and easy here. So gaze maybe down towards the navel so that the back of the neck is long. Neck and shoulders are a place we tend to hold lots of tension. So let it go. Good. And inhale, walking hands back. Now, just to get into the opposite hip, change the cross of the legs. Inhale, arms sweep up. And exhale, folding forward. Hip bones stay rooted. Now, the side may feel really different. This was probably her habitual side where we started. So this may feel really different. Rooted hip bones. Maybe coming up to fingertips. Allow the neck to be really long, easy here. If Ujjayi breath, the soft whispering over the throat, is part of your practice, starting to invite that in. This audible breath starts to create a mind-body connection. Good. Inhale, walk it up. Good. From here, if you're sitting on a prop, you can set that off to the side and then coming onto hands and knees for tabletop position. Here, hands, elbows, shoulders all stacked in one line, and then knees stacked directly under the hips about hip width distance. I invite you to practice with either toes turned under or tops of the feet to the earth. Both are absolutely fine. See what feels right for you. We'll start to just warm the spine through some cat and cows. So as you inhale, lift the sternum as you draw the sternum away from the navel. And on your exhale, begin to round the spine. So pressing into the hands, that upper back area rounds up. Inhale, lifting the chest, tailbone tips. And on your exhale, rounding, big tuck of the tailbone. One more time, inhale, chest lifts, big tip of the tailbone. And exhale as you round. From here, send the hips back, child's pose. You can keep the knees just where they are, or to create a little more space, you can take the knees a bit wide. Again, both are correct. As we practice today, I want you to feel the freedom and feel the empowerment to adjust for what your body needs. The practice is truly about tapping in, noticing, and really adjusting for exactly what fits you. Take a few breaths here as you lift the palms, fingertips to the earth. Make the arms a little bit active as they broaden the shoulders and the backside body. Now take a little tuck of your tailbone so that you lengthen the low back, the lumbar spine. Good. Now inhale, rise up through tabletop position. On an inhale, sweep right arm up towards the sky. Take the gaze up towards the lifted thumb. And on your exhale, sweeping that arm through for threading the needle, but just come to a hover for a moment. Inhale, sweep the arm up, gaze comes up. Exhale, coming through to a hover. So we're just sort of warming through this twisting motion. One more time, inhale, reaching up. And then exhale, coming all the way through. As you come all the way through, come down to the right cheek, right shoulder. Really soften in here. Make sure that the side of the face is resting on the earth. Often I'll find that people are sort of floating in midair, and it's just an indication of how much tension we hold. We've created such a space of tension in our bodies and in our society. So it's really easy to forget and not see where we're holding it. So see how much you can relax into this. If it feels right, you can sweep that left hand behind your back. It's not a necessity, just one more place to go. Take a few breaths here, and with each exhalation, melt just a little bit more down towards the earth. Good. Now pressing into the left hand, inhale, right arm sweeps all the way up. And then on your exhale, coming back, neutral tabletop position. We'll take it to the opposite side. Inhale, sweeping left arm up. And exhale as you thread it through to a hover. Inhale, left arm sweeps up. And exhale, coming through to a hover. Last time, inhale, sweeping up. And exhale as you come through all the way down this time. Again, find the connection between the side of the cheek, the side of the face, and the earth. Settle in, really finding that deep relaxation, seeing how much tension you can let go. The earth is this wonderful receptacle. We give it our things to compost. We take our scraps and it turns it into soil. So see if you can allow your stress, your tension to be offered to the earth to compost. Option to take the right hand and bring it behind the back if that feels right, if that feels like it would be beneficial. Good. And then bringing that right hand back to the earth if you brought it behind. Inhale, sweep left arm up. And then exhale, neutral tabletop position. Good. From here, turn your toes under and then exhale your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal it out. Anything that allows you to sort of feel into the body. So we spent a little time feeling into the breath, assessing, kind of taking stock, noticing where we began. And I want you to do that right here as we transition from seated and slowly moving up from table to now up to downward dog. See what things feel like here. Good. Then starting to find some stillness in your downward dog. Take a soft bend in your knees and a big tip in your pelvis. So it's as if your tailbone is reaching towards the sky. Then pressing through the base of the hands, start to make the back side of your body really long. Press the thigh bones back, lifting the tail. Good. On your exhalation, slowly start to walk your feet forward between your hands. And on your inhale, find a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale as you fold it forward fully. Inhale, sweep your arms up fully, palms touch overhead. And exhale, hands as they glide to heart center. Good. I'm going to move my blocks here. And I feel like the lighting shifted, so I apologize. Hopefully it's not too bad. Let's see what we can do here for a moment. I want you to set up with your blocks. We'll see if we make that any better. All right. It's not better. Hopefully we can see just enough. All right. Have your blocks available. And as you come to Tadasana, mountain pose, I want you to root through the feet. And as you start to lift the inner arches, that's going to activate the inner leg lines. Draw the thighs, upper thighs back, low belly in and up. On your inhalation, start to reach your arms up and overhead. And on your exhale, begin to fold it forward. You can keep a bend in your knees as big as you need. Inhaling, halfway lift. On your exhale, fold forward fully. Inhale to rise up fully, palms touch, gaze comes up. And exhale, glide hands through heart center. We're going to move through this a couple times and then we're going to add on. So I want you to move through at your pace. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhaling, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. Inhale to rise. Palms touch, gaze comes to lifted thumbs. And exhale, hands, heart center. Doing one more here, just starting to feel into the back of the legs, feeling into the low back as we start to create these forward folds. Good. And then as we meet into Tadasana here, we'll start to add on. Great. So inhaling, arms reach up. As you exhale and fold, we're going to hold it here, taking your left hand to a block. If it's available, you can reach the earth. And then taking your right hand, bringing it to your waist. Take a deep bend in your right knee. Now start to take your gaze over your right shoulder. Press down through your left foot. And I want you to start to lift your left hip towards the sky. It may not make a lot of movement, but the action of pressing the left foot to the earth and lifting the left hip is going to create a lot of length in the back of the left leg, the left hamstring. You can bend the right knee as much as needed to create as much sensation that you need in the back of the left leg. So we're getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch, as well as getting a little bit of a twist in the back. Take a few breaths here. Good. And then soft bend in both knees. Exhale as you fold it forward. Take your right hand to a block. Straighten through the right leg. Take a bend through the left knee. Left hand comes to the left hip. Take your gaze over the left shoulder. Again, from here, rooted through the right foot, lifting through the right hip. So the hip may not make a lot of movement, but the action of pressing the right foot into the earth and lifting the hip is going to activate the back side of the right leg as you take your twist over the left shoulder. Good. And exhaling, fold it forward fully. Inhale, halfway lift, long, flat back. Exhale as you fold. Inhale to rise up fully, palms touch, gaze comes up. And exhale, hands, heart center. Great, we're gonna move it on from here. Inhale, reach it up tall. And exhale as you fold forward fully. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step it back, top of a push-up. From here, you always have the option to release down to the knees or stay with the knees lifted. So however much you need. I say this can vary each day. Fingers spread wide. Good. Tailbone reaching towards the heels. Heart lifting towards the sky. Another breath here. Perfect. Come slightly forward and then exhale, release it fully down onto the belly. I want you to start to create the number 11 with the forearms. So elbows stacked directly under the shoulders, number 11 with the forearms. Fingers spread wide, and then forearms and hands pressed firmly into the mat. Tops of the feet to the earth, pinky toe side of the foot connected to the earth. So we're coming here to Sphinx pose. Now start to draw the navel and chest slightly forward with gaze forward. Take a few breaths here as we set this up. Good. Now bend the knees, start to create some circles, one direction. Keeping the pelvis connected to the earth. And then take it in the other direction. Good. And then tops the feet to the earth, slide the hands back, pressing up, downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. And at the end of your next exhalation, walk, step, or hop your feet forward between your hands. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward fully. Inhale as you rise up fully, palms touch. And exhale, hands glide through heart center. Inhale, reach it up tall. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step it back, top of a push-up. Come slightly forward on the hands, and then exhale as you release it down. Inhale to rise up to your back bend. So whatever you need this morning. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, rising up. Exhale the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Smoothing out the breath. Finding that tip in the pelvis. Tailbone reaching back. Thigh bones pressing back. Good. On an inhalation, lift the right leg long and tall behind for three-legged dog. On an exhalation, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Now release the left knee down towards the earth. Good. Inhale, sweep the right arm towards the sky. Take the gaze up towards the right thumb. Now this is a big twist. On an exhale, bring the right elbow down towards the inside of the right knee. Inhale, sweep the arm up, gaze comes up. Exhale, elbow down towards the earth or that direction. It does not have to reach. Take this a few more times. Your pace, no hurry. Don't worry if the elbow doesn't quite reach the earth. Just starting to warm into the spine. And then this one has a not so sneaky way of warming into the hips. Good. Next time you reach up, make that the last. As you exhale, plant the hand. Turn the back toes under, sweep it back, downward facing dog. Really nice. Take a few breaths to feel into that. See how the hips feel, see how the back feels. On your inhalation, lift your left leg. And as you exhale, step the left foot to the outside, of the left hand. Release right foot, right knee. And then as you inhale, sweep left arm towards the sky. As you exhale, bring left elbow down towards the earth. Inhale as the arm sweeps up. And exhaling, take elbow down towards the earth. Again, it does not have to meet the earth, just creating that twist, creating that direction. Take this with your breath, with your pace. A few more times. Make it intentional. No need to move fast. And no need to move the deepest ever. Move what feels right for your body. Great. Next time you reach up, make that the last. And as you exhale, plant your hand. Turn the back toes under and sweep that foot back. Downward facing dog. Good. Take a couple of breaths here. Feeling in any spaces, warm, tingly. Good. Inhale, lift the right leg long and tall. As you exhale, step the right foot forward. You can always help it forward too. No need to make that in one step. And from here, you can bring hands to your blocks or to the earth. As you step that foot forward to runner's lunge, start to make some hip circles in one direction. And then take them in the opposite direction. Good. And then as you find some stillness and center, inhale to sweep the arms up for Anjaneyasana. Lunge. Good. So engaging the inner leg lines, low belly in and up. And then from here, left hand is going to come, left elbow to reach to the outside of the right knee. Now, as you do that, I want you to pay a lot of attention to the right knee to see if it's collapsing in. I want you to keep the knee directed over the foot. Then from here, taking right hand to left, creating prayer hands, then pressing hand into hand to create the twist. Take your gaze over the right shoulder. Active legs. Always option to come down to the back knee here as well. So always options to modify for what the energy level is today, what the feeling in the body is today. Take a couple of breaths. Good. Inhaling, arms sweep up. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Few breaths here, feeling in, noticing. Super important part. Take a couple of breaths before we take it to the opposite side. Good. And as you're ready, inhaling, lifting the left leg. And then on your exhale, left foot steps forward. Again, always option to help it forward. And on your inhale, arms sweep up. Settling in here for a few breaths in Anjaneyasana. So inner leg lines squeeze together. The squeezing together of the inner leg line starts to activate Mula Bandha, the root, this container of energy. Low belly in and up starts to activate Uddiyana Bandha, this upward flying energy. So these two actions can actually start to make everything a little bit easier, creating just a little bit of ease. Now moving into the twist, taking the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Notice where that left knee is going. Keep it directed over the center of the toes. And then left hand meeting the right, pressing hand into hand. The more firmly that you press hand into hand, you'll notice the rotation being created within the mid-back, the heart. Take a few breaths, finding your steadiness, remembering that in the midst of the twists, we can find a steady, stable space. Good. Inhaling, arms sweep up. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back. Downward dog. Take a few breaths. Smoothing your breath. Steadying your breath. Breathing into your backside body. Good. And at the end of your exhale, walk, step, or hop your feet forward between your hands. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, rise up fully, palms touch, gaze comes up, and exhale, hands, heart center. Really nice. We've got one more standing sequence before we start to make our way to the earth. Inhale, reach it up tall. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step or hop it back. And then inhaling, come slightly forward. Exhale, release it down. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Good job. Inhale, lift your right leg. And on your exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Now this time, I want you to plant your back foot. We're planting heel to heel alignment or wider as we're setting up for warrior one. So with a bend in the front knee, inhale to rise up, keeping hips squared towards the front of the space. So whenever we come to this pose, I always say hips, we're all built so different. So option to walk the right foot out to the right in order to square the hips towards the front. That is perfectly fine. So squaring hips towards the front of the space, bend in the right knee, knee over the ankle. Good. Then from here, arms sweep up, pinkies turn slightly in so that you can allow a bit of space in the shoulders, so the trapezius muscles, this area that we carry so much, can start to relax. Go ahead and take a couple of breaths here, pressing into the outside edge of the back foot so that you activate this back leg. Draw the ribs in. Great. Now from here, float your hands to your waist. Start to straighten through the front knee. Draw the right hip back, squaring the hips towards the front of the space. Take a deep breath in as you lengthen the crown of your head towards the sky. Now, as you exhale, hinge forward halfway. Now from here, lots of options. You can stay with hands on the hips, or you can bring hands to the blocks, but we're not going to go past halfway for this practice. So hands on hips will be a little bit more active, hands on blocks a little more supported. Either one is fine. What I want you to find is the rooting in your feet, the activation of your legs. So active feet, active legs. Low belly in and up. Can you release any tension in the shoulders, in the jaw? Good. Now we're going to take this one step further. So I want you to inhale and rise up to begin. Good. And then exhaling fully. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, hinge forward halfway. Inhale, draw right hip back. Exhale, reach left hand to the outside of the right leg. So it can be on a block. It can be to the outside of the right foot, Or if it's available, it can be to the earth. So staying here for several breaths. Hips are level with the earth. Often what happens here is this right hip wants to hike up high towards the sky. I want you to really keep the hips level. If it's helpful, if it's useful, you can place this right hand laying across the back of the hips so that you get a little sensation here to see, is that hip hiking up? If it's beneficial, you can start to lift that right hand towards the sky. But just know that sometimes we get this false sense of a deeper twist by raising the hand. We're really just moving the shoulder. The shoulder is very, very mobile. That's what it's meant to do. So you know your body. Do what's right for you. Take your gaze over the right shoulder. Stay here for a few breaths. Good. Exhaling through center. Inhaling, rise. Good. Step your left foot forward to meet your right, coming to Tadasana. We'll take it on the opposite side. Good job. Inhale, reach it tall. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale as you fold. Plant your hands, step or hop it back. Inhale, come slightly forward. Exhale, release it down. Inhale to your back bend. And exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. Inhaling, left leg lifts. Exhaling, left foot steps forward. Plant your back foot. And inhale, rise up to warrior one. Take just as much care to set up this side. So option to walk the left foot out to the left, to square the hips towards the front of the space. Draw that left hip crease back. Press the right hip slightly forward. Left knee over the left ankle. Pinkies rotate slightly in. Take a few breaths here, rooting through the outside edge of the back foot. Good. This is a really multifaceted pose. There's so much going on here. We often move right through it, but there's a lot that happens. Floating your hands down to your hips. Start to straighten through the front knee, squaring the hips as you draw the left hip back, right hip slightly forward. Keep a little micro bend in the front knee. Take a deep breath in as you lengthen the crown of the head towards the sky. And exhale, hinge halfway forward. From here, option to stay with hands to the waist, or you can bring hands to the blocks. Both are absolutely perfect options. We're really working into the hamstring, lengthening of the spine from crown of head to tailbone. So work with whichever feels right for your body. They're both perfect. Left hip drawing back. Ball mound of the left toe rooted. Outside edge of the back foot rooted. Crown of head reaching forward. Tailbone reaching back. Little slight tuck of the chin so that the back of the neck is long. Good, and then we're gonna move on. So inhale as you rise. Exhaling here. Inhale, reach right arm towards the sky. Exhale, hinge forward halfway. Inhale, reach the fingers forward. And exhale, reach the right hand to the outside of the left foot. It can come to a block, the outside of the foot, or the earth. And then stay for several breaths. Drawing the left hip crease back. Keeping the hips level to the earth. And then option to keep this left hand on the back of the pelvis so that you can feel the pelvis level with the earth. Or you may take this a little further by reaching the left arm towards the sky. Again, both are absolutely appropriate. So see what feels right in your body this morning. Just another breath or two here. Great. Exhale, releasing through center. And inhale as you rise. Step the back foot forward to meet the front. Good job. We're going to come down to the earth. So as you come down to the earth, you may want to have that blanket or a little bit of a lift available if you've got it. And bringing that right under just the back edge of the sacrum so that you have just a little bit of a natural curve in the low back. Lots of times, if we come to a seat without it, we'll find that we lose the natural curve. So if you come to this little bit of a seat, we can keep the natural curve in the low back. And then from here, let's come to a wide leg seat. So as we come to a wide legged seat, have one of your blocks available. You may or may not need it, but I'll have it so that way you've got it if we do need. And then roll the inner thighs towards the earth so that the toes are directly towards the sky. Active feet here, so flexed feet. We're going to start off on the right-hand side with Parvrita Janu Shirshasana. So this is going to be revolved head to knee pose. And don't worry, we won't actually get our head to our knee. At least I will not. So taking your right hand, bringing the palm face up. Now, two options. You can bring forearm onto the block, and this is a perfect place to practice. If it's available, you can take the hand and actually connect it to the foot. But this may not be accessible, so it's not a necessity. So option to bring forearm to the block and stay there, or option to connect the hand to the inside of the foot. So I'm grabbing the arch of the foot. Now taking left hand to the waist and really connecting so that the sitting bones are connected to the earth. Now take your gaze over the left shoulder to begin. So starting right here. Now, taking an inhale, sweep the left arm up towards the sky. And I want you to keep the hips really rooted to the earth. So no matter where else we go, hips are rooted to the earth. Good. Now, as you exhale, arc the left arm, left fingers over towards the right big toe, keeping the hips rooted to the earth and rotating the chest towards the sky. So there's a couple of things that often happen here. In a desire to connect the left fingers to the left toe, a lot of collapsing in the chest open, it happens. And this really defeats the point of the pose. So keeping the chest open helps to really get into all of these muscles along the back side here. So it's a beautiful stretch when we keep the heart lifted and chest open. So even if fingers don't come anywhere near the toes, that is totally fine. Keep the hips connected, keep the chest lifted, and find this beautiful arc within the pose. And just take a couple more breaths here. Good. And inhale, rise up. Really nice. Take the block to the opposite side if you're using it. Left palm face up, and then bringing either forearm to the block, or if it's available, connecting the hand to the arch of the foot here. And then right hand to the waist to begin. Take your gaze over the right shoulder, keeping the sitting bones rooted. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Take just a breath here, keeping sitting bones rooted. I want you to feel into that root. Now, as you exhale, arcing the arm over, opening the chest. So it's as if you're looking under the armpit. And then fingers are reaching, rainbowing towards the toes. Again, they may connect, especially if you're somebody who has a lot of natural flexibility, or they may not even come anywhere close, and that is okay. The point is to get the sensation in the body, not to make the connection. That's a point of practice that I think gets lost. We tend to look towards making a specific shape. And really the practice is about the feeling in your body. So if you have sensation, you are doing the practice fully and completely. Good. Inhale as you rise. Really nice. You can set the block aside, bringing the knees in towards each other. You can set the blanket right off to the side, bending the knees, and then gently lowering down onto your back, hugging the knees into the chest. Give a little rock side to side. Good. And then bringing your arms out to a T, lowering the feet to the earth and walking the feet so that they're mat width distance. Good. Then from here, I want you to do a slow windshield wiper side to side here. So there's no hurry with this one. Really feeling into the low back, the hips. Some may feel this into the IT band. Good. Now coming through center, taking your right ankle, crossing it over the left knee, and then gently allowing the legs to open towards the right. So as the legs fall to the right side, glance down, and then walk the left foot out to the left so that the left shoulder, hip, and knee are all in one line. Now, keeping the feet flexed, so the feet are active, see if you can, again, release tension. So we started class by releasing tension into the body, by allowing just simply the weight of the body to do the work. There was no need to create any effort in the right leg here. Just simply the weight of the leg is what's doing the work. The feet have some activity. The feet are flexed. Right, then inhaling, lift both legs, unwind, soles of feet to the earth, windshield wiper side to side. There's lots of connections. Basically, if you think of the body as these chains of connection, we have these fascial chains that run along the back side, the front side, the sides. So we just opened one along the left-hand side. So part of that runs along the knee. So it can be scary when we do some of these stretches. Lots of these areas hold feelings, hold sensations. Okay, finding stillness, taking your left ankle, crossing it over the right knee, and then allowing the legs to just slowly fall open towards the left. And then walking the right foot out to the right enough so that the right shoulder, hip, and knee are in one line, feet flexed. And then just allow the left leg to be a bit heavy with ease. As much as possible, allowing the left leg just to be heavy without the need to do anything, no need to press on the left foot. And just allowing the weight of the leg to be the thing that creates the stretch. Feet are flexed. The flexion of the feet is what activates the little muscles that sort of create these bootstrap muscles around the knee. So it protects and keeps the knee safe while at the same time stretching all of these large fascial sheaths in which we build up so much stress and tension. Good. Then inhale, lifting the legs, unwinding, windshield wiper side to side. Good. Giving your knees a hug into your chest. Any last movement your body's calling for before we make our way to the final pose of rest. I always recommend that if you're taking any last movements, besides, of course, making sure that they're equal on both sides, it's always nice to make sure that it is something that's gentle at this point in class. And then as you're ready to come to Shavasana, as you're coming to the final pose of rest, traditionally Shavasana is done on the back with the arms and legs extended long with the palms turned skyward and feet gently falling outward. But if you have a modification or a position that allows your body to be very comfortable, please feel free to take that for these next few moments. As you come to this final pose of rest, closing your eyes, softening into your body. As you come to this space in which there's these few moments of your day to give yourself the gift of knowing that for these moments, there is nothing that you have to do. That for these few moments, you have the gift of simply being. And bringing your awareness back to your breath. And slowly bringing movement back into your body. Small, gentle waves. Fingers, toes, ankles, wrists, As you're ready, starting to extend your arms long overhead to find a full body stretch, a good morning stretch. And drawing your knees into your chest. And then slowly making your way to your right hand side, taking just a couple of breaths here. This moment, this position that is representative of the direction of the east, the rising of the sun, the beginning of a new day. Every time you arrive to your practice, you have this opportunity to shift the direction of our thoughts, to begin a new day. Now, using your hands, gently press yourself up to a seat. And with your eyes closed, bringing your palms together in front of your heart. And taking this final moment to recall your intention, to create a large inner smile. Give yourself a deep inner bow for arriving for your practice. I thank you for being here this morning, for attending to your practice, and for sharing this space together.